Hello everybody, this is my video on the top 10 best or worst haircuts in wrestling history. You may ask, why are you talking about haircuts in wrestling? Are you a queer? No, I'm not. The reason why I do this video is because having a good haircut is something that can be highly underrated in professional wrestling today. Having a good haircut could be something that could help make you a star. How do I define good haircut? Well, I can't. I just picked the top 10 haircuts I've seen in wrestling that have stood out to me. You may not agree with this list, so don't be a bitch. It's my video and I'll pick whatever the hell I like. Though you are welcome to leave your own picks or a specific haircut I may have left out which you feel should have been included. Number 10. Takeshi Morishima. Just look at this man boy's hair. It's beautiful. He took two things that by today's standards are uncool and made it into an eyesore he wears on his head proudly. It takes a real man with a haircut like his to play a monster in wrestling. Though Morishima's gender is yet to be determined, most experts think he is most likely a man. Morishima rocks a bowl cut at the front and a party at the back. He is so secure with himself that he walks around with hair that makes him look like a Japanese schoolgirl. That screams badass. Number 9. Nigel McGuinness. This is a hard one for me to talk about. Whenever I think of Nigel, I think of his hair. Whenever I think of ROH, I think of Nigel, and hence, I think of his hair. In a promotion full of skinny white guys with bad haircuts, Nigel has stood out with his. This is also further proof that most wrestlers are a decade behind the rest of the world when it comes to fashion. It's still awesome though. Number 8. Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome has been deceased for quite a while now, but he will be remembered. If not for his wrestling, people will always remember that mullet. It was pretty much his gimmick, guy with a mullet. He was a guy who walked around with a mullet well past it was fashionable. Sure, he was given some terrible gimmicks in WCW, but the only gimmick he should have ever had was Mike Awesome, a big dude with a beautiful mullet, circa 1984. Number 7. Kane. When Kane took his mask off in 2003, nobody expected the horror they were about to witness. I myself was expecting him to take off the mask and see a normal looking guy with makeup and a full head of hair. What I got was this hideous haircut, which I cannot even begin to describe to you. Frankly, even if I was 7 feet tall, I would not walk around with this fucking dead animal on the back of my head. Not even a hat would be able to cover up that shit. I still wonder how he could walk around with that haircut and not feel like a retard. At the end of the day though, the fact that I cannot scrub this from my mind tells me it has earned a spot on this list of wonderful haircuts. This one may be wonderful for all the wrong reasons though. Number 6. Muhammad Yoni. Muhammad Yoni isn't the only man wrestling with an afro, but he easily has the best. None of this pussy ass Carlito bullshit. When he grows an afro, he grows a motherfucking afro. Just look at it. It should be pointed out that he's Asian, which means the afro does not come naturally to him. Well, as far as I know anyway. Which means he does have to put a lot of work into it, and for that, he deserves a spot on this list. Number 5. Ric Flair. How could I not include the nature boy Ric Flair? These days his hairline is receding and we can all see a bald spot showing up. But back in the day he was the fucking man, and his hair was always fucking awesome. The long bleach blonde hair was not the first of its kind, but who the fuck else wants 16 world titles with hair like that? That's fucking right. Let's not also forget his amazing hair at the end of the 1992 Royal Rumble. And when he bleeds, it turns pink. Just fucking magnificent. Number 4. Chris Jericho. Who could forget Chris Jericho's debut in the WWF? Nobody. Who could forget his hair? Even less. It was completely ridiculous, but it was awesome. It was supposed to be over the top and make him look like a tool. You know what the most frightening thing in retrospect is? Looking at Y2J and The Rock now makes me appreciate how much cooler Chris Jericho was, is, and forever will be compared to The Rock. Why? Because Chris Jericho had better hair than The Rock. Number 3. Bison Smith. Just look at Bison Smith's hair. How can you not call it awesome? If you think his hair sucks, then you're a bitch. It fits him perfectly, it makes him look like a fucking beast. Not just that, but it must add at least an inch to his height. Anyone familiar with Bison Smith is familiar with how much ass he kicks, but really, with a haircut like that, how can you not take Bison Smith seriously? The hair alone has more charisma than 90% of the WWE's locker room. Number 2. Triple H. I may not like Triple H as a worker, but fuck me dead, he has fantastic hair. It always looks good. Well, if we're only counting days as Triple H, it does. When it is straight, it looks good. When it's curly, it looks good. When it's matted with blood, it looks good. There is one match I remember from 2003 against HBK on an episode of Raw. As the match progressed, his hair turned into what can be called a frullet, an afro and a mullet at the same fucking time. Did it look bad? No! Triple H's hair is the only thing I like about him. Anyone who says he's won as many world titles as he has because he's banging Steph doesn't know what they're talking about. At least 4 of those title reigns are based solely off his hair. Number 1. Hiroshi Tanahashi. Not many of my subscribers will know who he is, but he is in possession of the greatest hair ever. It is mighty. It is epic. It is fucking awesome. He's one of the biggest new stars in Japan today. Why? Because he has awesome hair. Not unlike Triple H, he never has a bad hair day. Unlike Triple H though, his hair is not only always good, it is always fucking awesome. I'm not a fan of that look myself, but when I see Hiroshi Tanahashi, I seriously just consider turning gay for him. I cannot even begin to fathom the amounts of rats he gets. Even when he was on TNA and getting jobbed out in 4-minute squash matches for no reason, I consider those episodes the greatest as I was able to bask in its glory. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Hiroshi Tanahashi's at number 1. I'd also like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy my next top 10 video, which will be the top 10 sets of man tits in wrestling. I hope you look forward to it as much as I do.